In this video, I will tell you in detail what is actually happening with the channel DAFUQ Boom. Perhaps some of you didn't know yet that Alexei Gerasimov is the creator of the TV series SKIBIDI Toilet. On YouTube, it is also called DAFUQ Boom. And now an interesting situation has arisen in his life. This situation affects all of you. For every viewer who watches the series SKIBIDI Toilet, I have already warned more than once that I have a special vision for all things that happen. I can watch the endless abyss of karmic connections. Mr. DAFUQ Boom has a deep subconscious of a creative person. And as you know, at such depths, there are always dark places. But this darkness is invincible. It is part of our essence. Therefore, it should not be removed. You just need to learn how to interact with her correctly. I would like to note that by creating this video for you, I risk losing the channel forever. But I still decided to do it to give you very useful information. I hope it will help you in the future and help Mr. DAFUQ Boom get out of a difficult situation. Greetings, my dear viewers. Pyramid on Air. Information is a weapon. Well, you yourself understand perfectly well that a real war has now begun. Therefore, please watch the video to the end. I am sure you will find it very interesting. So let me briefly describe the situation. To put it very simply, YouTubers are divided into two parts. Those who produce unique content, and those who provide the service for this unique content. In our particular case, Mr. DAFUQ Boom is a top producer of new generation quality content. He spent many years of study and work to pave his way to incredible success. When the SKIBIDI Toilet universe began to fractally multiply and grow, YouTubers engaged in service content immediately picked up the new trend and began producing videos based on this wonderful series. Naturally, many of them began to earn big money very quickly. Today, there is practically not a single YouTuber who would not use the SKIBIDI Toilet theme. At the beginning of the journey, Mr. DAFUQ Boom, showing his ardent character, threw strikes to channel authors who used characters from the TV series SKIBIDI Toilet. The victims of these strikes began to unite into groups, and the so-called Russian YouTube mafia appeared in the vastness of YouTube. Among this group, there are people who are engaged in making money using prohibited and semi-prohibited business schemes. Producers of gray and black content. These expert groups have extensive knowledge of YouTube algorithms. And of course, many people know very well that the YouTube platform has weaknesses. The offended members of the Russian mafia agreed to use these weak points to take revenge on Mr. DAFUQ Boom. If you look at the height of the planetary scale and the development of human evolution, the main problem here is the lack of a clear system for regulating copyright. And the further and deeper technology develops, the more difficult it is to protect copyright. Therefore, those of you who want to produce content in the future, remember this lesson and study it well, because each of you could be in the place of Alexei and in the place of a service YouTuber. The second problem arising from the first is the strike system. The strike system on the YouTube platform is built on the basis of copyright boundaries. And since these boundaries are quite blurred, the strike system is also blurred. In simple words, it is very easy to throw a strike at any author, but it is very difficult to prove that the strike came to you undeservedly and unfairly. The Russian mafia knows this very well. Naturally, they started to hit exactly this weak spot. But let's try to figure out this difficult issue. Imagine that you came to an artist's club and there were free paints and brushes lying around. These are artists' tools that anyone can take. Well, one day a very talented person comes to this club. He takes these brushes and paints, and the canvas does begin to devote all his time to learning new abilities. He studies how best to hold a brush, how to apply paints correctly, in what proportions to mix these paints, how to apply paints to canvas. Then he comes up with interesting images and stories. He finds unique compositions. And then one day he draws a very beautiful ship. This ship instantly becomes popular throughout the world. At this moment, all other artists, in order to join this glory, begin to draw this particular ship because everyone recognizes him and reacts to him immediately. The artist who originally invented the ship begins to notice that in the world, people began to buy not only his painted ship, but also ships with his idea drawn by other artists. Moreover, other artists do not indicate that the idea of this beautiful ship belongs to that very first author. And so our talented author begins to write complaints about each of these parasitic artists. They started shouting back to Alexei, "Look at yourself, you also use these paints, brushes, and canvas. Why are you asking us for money?" But the artist, Alexei, demanded a percentage of earnings not for paints and brushes and canvas, namely for the idea of the beautiful ship that he came up with. In addition, their ships were not drawn very beautifully, and sometimes various vulgar elements were added to his ship, so vulgar that showing it to children is completely prohibited. The legal system to which the artist Alexei wrote his complaints worked very poorly and had absolutely no understanding of what a work of art actually consists of. This legal system does not distinguish between paint, brushes, ships, ideas for it. It is all mixed into one. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, my dear viewers. I see you are still here because you enjoy hearing my stories. Well, then a community of parasitic artists about whom complaints began to come. They began to take offense at the artist Alexei because the legal system began to close their workshops after complaints. Parasitic artists rebelled. How is it that you are an artist like us? What right do you have to this beautiful ship? Parasitic artists harbor a grudge. We learned how poorly the legal system works. After all, she doesn't understand what paints and brushes are or what a beautiful ship with an interesting, unique idea is. Taking advantage of this weakness, parasitic artists began to write complaints in response. This was their sweet revenge. One of these artists pretended that it was he who invented the paint with which the ship was painted. You probably would have already guessed that by paint I mean the 3D model of the speaker on the chest of the Titan TV. Man, the YouTube legal system, without understanding what is going on, automatically blocks videos. I repeat once again that this is a huge weakness of this system. This weakness is why many people hate YouTube, because due to some stupidity, you can lose your entire channel. And now the day has come that you learned about today. DAFUQ Boom Karmic Strikes Day. The secret of the attack is to write complaints as much and quickly as possible. The legal system does not have time to process all these complaints, and there is a big risk that your channel will be closed. Next, Mr. DAFUQ Boom decided to resort connections and fans, since he does not have direct contacts with the management posts of the YouTube residents. He decided to shout at them using Twitter, and as far as I understand, today, he did it quite well. By the way, an elite cameraman got involved in time and very quickly, calling on the community of SKIBIDI analysts to be active. As you all know very well, you need to write a fairly large number of complaints, and so that 3 of them remain active for 7 days, and then your channel will be deleted forever. Therefore, you need to challenge all complaints as quickly as possible and explain to the YouTube administrator that a mistake was made here. You need to argue your position well enough, and then the administrator cancels this strike with his own hands. Episode 59 was deleted today, and even before that, episodes 44 to 47 were deleted. The organized attack was orchestrated by Russian YouTuber Nikita Demidovich. He is the creator of the fake fan animation channel VIDS on YouTube. The only thing this guy is talented at is that he is a bastard, so most likely he doesn't even animate anything himself, but hires cheap workers. The owner of the Telegram channel, which initially gathered haters to attack the DAFUQ Boom channel, is Nikita, so he is supposedly behind this whole operation. With the help of the work of fans and the community, as well as the efforts of Alexei himself, 3 strikes were removed today. It was an interesting battle, and finally, victory has been achieved. But this is just a small victory, because the war continues, and I encourage you and the entire community to stand up for creativity in defense of the artist who makes a wonderful and high-quality product. So get your smartphones ready. You hear? This is the sound of the bugle of war. Well, what about the secrets of the subconscious? Do you know the work of Mr. DAFUQ Boom? This is a reflection of his essence. It's not without reason that in the second part of episode 67 we saw a very interesting scene. In fact, what you see in the series is Alexei's inner world. He is fighting his inner demons. Once upon a time, at the very beginning, he used aggression against artists, and he gave strikes to various channels. I'm not saying that this is bad, it's just part of our life in the struggle for existence. And as you know, every aggressive action gives rise to reaction. And now the fruits of this karma have returned. The Titan TV represents the red light technology that allows you to throw strikes. The SKIBIDI scientist took advantage of this technology and sent it against the Titan cameraman himself. And the Titan begins to damage itself. This exactly emphasizes the structure of karma. In the next episode, we will find out what will happen to Titan. I am sure that Alexei will pass these lessons with dignity, and we as a community will support him in difficult times. And may the force of the pyramid be with you, my YouTube warrior. Good luck!